Welcome to the weekend edition of the Fast Five by Fear and Greed. I'm Michael Thompson, and hello, Sean Aylmer.
Hello, Michael.
Sean, on weekdays, it's all about the Fast Five, the top 5 business stories in 5 minutes. On the weekend, we still keep it to 5 minutes, but we pick out the biggest story of the week, the sleeper story, one that's kind of flying under the radar a bit, the most remarkable story, and then our favourite story. So let's jump into it. The biggest story of the week, what was it?
Commodity prices over the past couple of weeks, the whole game has changed. They're falling again. Oil prices are down 15% over the past couple of months. Copper's lower, natural gas is lower, gold and silver, coal prices. All the soft commodities have come off too, or most of them anyway. Palm oil, hugely traded commodity, that's come off. It's used in all sorts of things from packaging to hair care, soaps, personal items, that type of thing. Lumber prices are down, good for renovators out there. Wheat prices have tumbled. It's not just a financial market story. This will affect every one of us. Petrol prices have already started to drop. The cost of food and ingredients and renovations and building costs will be affected. Transport charges will change. The dynamics of the economy are changing. Easily the biggest story of the week.
Yeah, it certainly was a big one. My biggest story was Boris Johnson's resignation as British Prime Minister. Biggest story because it's been building for so long. It was all really over Partygate. The party's held by government staff and attended by the PM while the country was in lockdown. He was the first sitting Prime Minister to be punished for breaking the law. But just in 3 days this week, 50 members, more than 50 members of his government resigned. Ministers were quitting almost as quickly as he could appoint them. In the end, the pressure was too much. On Thursday night, he pulled the pin. He's now supposed to be the caretaker Prime Minister until October, but who knows if that'll happen. He had a very thick skin, Boris, but maybe just not quite thick enough.
Mm-hmm.
All right, moving on to the most remarkable. Can I nominate one for this one?
Sure.
For me, it was the week that Prime Minister Anthony Albanese's had, because it shows the two extremes of being the PM. He started the week on a secret visit to Ukraine. He met with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, committing more foreign aid. He was under a pretty extreme security blackout while he was there. As soon as he left and returned to Poland, he was straight on the phone to New South Wales Premier Dominic Perrottet about the flood crisis around Sydney and to the north and the south of the city. Criticism started to mount about him being overseas when there's an emergency at home. He got back to Australia, straight into the flood zones, and it just kind of showed that very fine line that you need to walk between international and domestic politics. It was good to see that the Liberal Premier not getting into the politics of it, just saying that really don't care about the personalities, just about the outcomes. On top of all that, though, the Prime Minister was dealing with questions about rising interest rates, with the RBA increasing them by 50 basis points and COVID surging again. Who'd want to be Prime Minister?
Me. What a great, varied job. Hey, look, I've just got one very quick one for this category. How much money Steve McCann, the CEO of Crown Resorts, made? He was only in the job 13 months. Of course, Blackstone bought out Crown Resorts as a result. Mr. McCann walks away with about $12 million. Not bad for a year's work.
That's a fairly lucrative year. All right, sleeper story. What was it for you?
Australia's about to get hit with more industrial action than it's had for years. We saw it with the Qantas engineers this week. Commuters in Sydney have been affected by it this week. We've also seen strikes by nurses and healthcare workers. We've seen strikes by teachers as well. The latest ABS figures show that strike action is on the rise. It's because people have jobs. They can actually afford to take a bit more risk and ask for better paying conditions. The economy's doing well. There's been frustration about a lack of pay rises during the pandemic. And there really hasn't been big wage increases in Australia for many, many years. Also, the Labor government in Canberra doesn't hurt. There hasn't been much about strikes and industrial action for many years. We're going to hear much more about it.
All right, no, I agree with you. That one, that's a big sleeper story. Can we go on to the favourite story? I've got a good one for this.
Go for it.
Okay. WD-40. Everybody knows that the blue and yellow cans, very distinctive smell. Gary Ridge, the CEO of the company, stepping down this month after 25 years in the job. The top secret formula for WD-40 is written by hand in pencil on a notepad, kept in a Bank of America vault. When it was moved, the recipe was moved in 2018 for the company's 65th anniversary. Get this, it was handcuffed to the CEO, escorted in an armoured car, kind of like the nuclear codes in the briefcase travelling with the president. But anyway, a list. Coca-Cola, KFC's 11 secret herbs and spices, WD-40. They are the great secret recipes of the business world.
It is a great story. Look, mine comes out of Japan. It's introduced some pretty tough laws for cyber bullies. They could now face up to a year in prison. It follows the suicide of a 22-year-old professional wrestler and reality TV star who was hounded on social media. It's about time. Cyberbullying is a disgrace. It's done by cowards who mostly have no idea of the impact they're going to have. Lock them up. Good on you, Japan.
Yeah, well said. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you, Michael.
There we go, 5 minutes and pretty much everything you need to know in the world of business. We'll be back on Monday morning with the top 5 business stories in 5 minutes. I'm Michael Thompson, and this is the Fast 5 by Fear and Greed.